If I had to protect somebody, I would protect Jenna Nyswanger. I don't.
You stole mine. That's 5 events here in the States in the next 5 years. And the Women's World Cup would fall smack dab in the middle of that. So they can build on the Men's World Cup the year prior.
I think I kind of give these guys my yellow penny like every other time.
You're consistent. If you're one thing, you are consistent.
I just want people to know what I feel.
My yellow penny is the trend of wearing Sambas sneakers as the cool girl sneaker. Welcome back into Straight from the Pitch. Joined as always by Scotty Schweitzer. I'm Anna Witte. This week, we are going to start with recapping this MLS Cup final. And we're not going to recap the actual game. We're going to kind of dive into things off the field. But what happened on the field is pretty simple. Crew outpossessed LAFC. And to me, it seemed like LAFC was really just reacting more to what was happening on the pitch. Crew won in their home stadium 2-1. The stadium attendance was 20,800. It was maxed out at lower.com field. And Crew hosted because they finished the season with the most points. This game was played Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. It was in the mid-50s and it was rainy, definitely favoring the Crew and obviously the fans who are used to that type of weather crew-wise. So, Scotty, where would you like to see this game be played if it's not in Columbus, Ohio at the beginning of December?
So the MLS to me is they're an enigma to me. They're just I don't understand so many things they do. So why in the beginning of the year or the beginning of the playoffs do we give these super low seeds that squeak into the playoffs a really good chance to go through? You know, they get a home game and then they get a road game. You got to win the best out of, 2 out of 3. And then we go to the finals and the teams that have done everything they needed to do, whether it's a low seed or not seed, and they get to the final, it's a one game winner take all at the higher seeds stadium. Like, I don't think that's fair. We do so many things based on other sports in America. You got to win the best out of a 3 series. Okay, that's hockey, that's baseball, and then we get to this final. And why is the final not a designated at the beginning of the year? Here's where we're going to play. This is where it's going to be. And you can use it for all different kinds of reasons. Like, okay, San Diego's coming in. Let's use their stadium.
Yep.
Let's get their fan base involved a whole year ahead of time. Maybe that's too close to LA, but if it's done before the season starts and say, okay, here's where the final's going to be, then we say, now we're all playing for something. You're like, oh my God, we could get the final at our home stadium if we make it. And that's something the whole year, starting in preseason. So they get on and they do their interviews and Garber gets on and he says, we're such a great league, blah, blah, blah. I think those are false statements by him himself because they always play at the higher seed, which means they're going to get a maxed out stand. I'm sure they get a huge percentage of the gate. That's just the way the MLS works.
Right.
But then going into the game, you're like, well, Angel City, look at the game. They did not look comfortable. They did not look comfortable on the field. Well, they didn't stay in their beds. They didn't stay in their houses. They weren't with their families. They don't know the locker room. They don't know the field. And the Crew does. And I just don't think that's what the final should be about. I think it should be an even playing ground.
To your point, though, about the Crew staying at home and LAFC staying on the road, that's, I think, the biggest thing right there is the things happening off the field. And then you look at what's happening going into the game, like everything that's happening around the stadium, the pubs and all that is all centered around the Crew. To use San Diego as a perfect example, it's a great soccer town. This time of year, it's 75 degrees and sunny. So you're getting people traveling. They want to be in Southern California, just like they would any other time of year. This gives them that perfect excuse. Everybody's staying on the road. There's no really that home field advantage. Maybe you can argue LA, but only the nitpicky people will make that argument. I completely agree. And no shade to Columbus. I really do enjoy that town. I think it's a great soccer town. But if you're going to have a final, I think it has to be like a field where nobody has that advantage. And then, similar to what the Super Bowl does, they make it a whole week's worth of an event. If I were to pick a stadium, I would pick Austin because this time of year in Texas is great. It's right smack dab in the middle of the country. It's an up and coming town. People are always traveling to Austin this time of year for bachelorettes, and just to go on vacation. You're going to get such an interesting, fun, diverse crew. Yes, maybe you won't see as many crew and LAFC fans there, but there will be people there ready to party. And at this point of where MLS is at, you want people ready to party.
Well, I think that's MLS's fear that they go somewhere and the stands are empty and it's a bad look. It's a bad look for TV. And I understand that, but then
But
don't
my
come
question
on.
for you, Scotty, though, is do you think people wouldn't show up? Like, do you really think they would have an empty stadium in San Diego or Austin?
No, but I do think they could pick. Look, if they pick certain cities, I think yes. I do. I think it might be yes to some of those cities, but on the for the most part, and I think that's why where I said with Garber and them coming on, like you got to have confidence that people are going to show up. Like it was a good game. Don't get us wrong. Like I thought. I'll tell you what it looked. It looked like LA was on the road, and it looked like they thought we're just going to show up and win this. We have the better talent. We have this. We have that. We have all. And Columbus looked like they were better coached. They were better prepared. But again, like it looked like wow, they are really comfortable. Columbus really knows. They know the field. And I haven't played on that stadium, but the old Columbus Crew Stadium, it was a weird surface. It played super fast and it also played super slick. So it was like really hard figuring out your cleats. I played the US Open Cup final there and I played a couple other games in there, but I just always remember like, man, this is a tough stadium to play in. Seattle's a tough place to play just based on they have more rubber pellets because it's a football field. So it's more geared for the football players and their size and their weight. So certain bounces react weird. There's just certain things that are tough in certain stadiums. And that's where like how in the beginning are we doing the best of three? And then we get to the final. And okay, LA, travel across the country, get in a different time zone, get in weather you're not used to, and good luck. And good luck. And I just don't think like the way it's said is necessarily we're gonna get always the best game. I just don't think that's fair. And I bet you if we went back and looked at I bet you the home team has a big discrepancy of how many wins they get. And I get it. Oh, well, we had the better year, we had the better season, blah, blah, blah. But we don't do that in the beginning necessarily. We give these weaker teams a chance. Like Kansas City got through. They weren't the higher seed. Most of the higher seeds got through, but we give these lower seeds a chance in the beginning. But then when we get to the final, we don't. We don't give them an even fight in a sense. And listen, don't get me wrong. I don't want to see two games or the best three in a final. Not one single
Right.
bit. I want to see a winner take all, but I want it on. Yeah, you're right. Like making an event, not a one day thing. Not a one day thing. We didn't hear anything about it. Like if you're not a true soccer fan, listen. When the Super Bowl comes around, everybody knows. It's
Right.
all week. It's thrown in our face. The sponsors are everywhere. I'm watching 4,000 Tostitos commercials, and like we're about to get the national championship football get thrown in our face. Like it's just the way it works. Like the MLS needs to do a better job and then go somewhere like if you got a new team, promote it, get the fans there. Like, yes, if you go to
I
San
think that's the
Diego,
biggest
you
thing.
might have a little bit of an advantage, but you're going to have a lot of fans that are neutrals. And then the way the game goes is going to dictate how the cheering goes. That Columbus Crew stand, they were amazing. They were into it. Like, who I would have gave the game to? It would have been a terrible weather probably, but St. Louis deserves the final. You did all that all year. Your fans deserve to get to watch, and they would have
But
showed up. They would have showed up, those
City
fans.
City Park is pretty small though, to be fair. And to be fair, maybe like that is what MLS, if they're nervous about the attendance, having a smaller stadium would be the perfect middle ground. And it's that perfect, like right smack dab in the middle of the country. People are willing to make that trip, especially those diehard fans. Look at what F1 has done in this country. And I know that's a completely different sport because it's people who are fans and are invested in that sport have the money to travel and they will. But it's just what they've done is they've made it a whole event. They've put money into like having vendors, having things happen on Friday night and then Sunday the next day. Have Messi come and be a part of something. Have I don't know.
That's funny. I
Obviously,
was
you
going to
can't.
bring up Messi. I personally think sometimes the MLS, they don't really necessarily care too much about the fans. They say they do, but then their actions don't prove it. Listen, Miami is sold out. They've sold out their season tickets, and their ticket prices have skyrocketed.
Right.
The MLS needs to step in and be like, that's not fair to your fans. These guys have been showing up prior to Messi. Prior. Not great, not as great as it is with Messi, but now all of a sudden you have something to sell and you're gonna let these clubs take advantage of these fans. Like that's part of the reason I got out of pro soccer coaching when I was the coach here, because they didn't care about the fans. They just cared about their money. They didn't care about putting a good product on the field. They thought they deserve. Here, we're a pro team. You better show up. You better come here. We're going to do a camp. You better come. Like those guys don't want to be out there coaching kids. They have other things that they're trying to do. Like, and I don't think the MLS are like, here, let's do this. We're going to get a sellout because it's a home team. They're going to play. Columbus fans are going to show up. They're going to be here. Like, care about the fans. Give fans like who didn't get their team into the final. Give them a chance. Here, Austin, show us what you got. Show us how hard you can cheer. Show your team that you want to be here next year. And you'll travel and you'll do all the right things. Like, credit to LAFC. Their fans traveled. Their fans went there. They had a good showing in the stands. They had nothing to cheer for. I thought Cherundolo got completely outcoached. But to me,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes the MLS is like they walk around like whatever they do is right, and I don't think that's fair. Like help these fans like enjoy the game, help them learn the game, help them want to be a part of it, want to be a part of a team, not just the diehards, the regular fan that's in the city that wants someone to cheer for, wants a team to be a part of, wants to feel like they're as much of a reason the team wins as the players on the field. And when you have that, man, it's a great. I've been in places, Cleveland, Ohio, in indoor, and Rochester, New York, in outdoor. Those fans were as big of a reason that we won as we were on the field. We didn't want to let them down, and by not wanting to let them down, they didn't let us down, and they
Well,
always showed up.
also fans too make the stories that go on the TikTok, the Instagram, the Twitter that makes it even bigger. We're seeing that happen in New York with Tommy DeVito being this superstar Italian, Italian stallion with the agent on Monday Night Football. Like you can't script that stuff. And it's clearly like the fans are invested in making sure that goes out on social and then it blows up. And then what we're going to see at MetLife is this continued support. I also don't want to bash MLS fully. Like they've done a great job. What they did with Apple this year, bringing in Messi, what we saw on the field throughout this entire season, what the crew been able to do this season, and obviously LAFC getting back into that final game is all extremely impressive. And there's so much that the MLS has done right. But it was very strange to be watching a December final game in a very cold state here in America, in Ohio, which isn't, probably where you're going to see the most fans really of any sport. Maybe you'll see a lot of Browns fans and Bengals fans now and Joe Burrow fans. But no, congratulations to the crew and Coach Nancy on winning the 2023 MLS Cup. That is it. That is a wrap on MLS this season. But don't worry, we'll continue to talk about it. Now NWSL is stepping up their game this week. They will have their expansion draft on Friday night. It'll be Bay Area and Utah will both select up to 12 players. Teams cannot lose more than 2 unprotected players. So the question is, if you could pick one player from Gotham and a player from OL Reign, who would you protect and why? And before we dive into it, there are so many rules going into this NWSL expansion draft on who's protected, who's not protected, how they're being protected. So we're going to play this fun game and pretend nobody is protected. Scotty, who do you have? Let's start with Gotham.
Okay, Gotham. I don't think this is going to surprise anybody. If I had to protect somebody, I would protect Jenna Niswanger. I don't.
You stole mine.
Sorry, but like, and the reason I protect her, one is when you're building a team, and I'm not saying Gotham's building a team, but when you look to the future and okay, now they're champions. This is a player, one who's young. Her career has just started, and it is on the uptick, and it is on the uptick fast. But more importantly, she is a champion, and she is not a champion just this year. She is a Florida State champion, and to become a champion, it's not easy. And once you become one, you know exactly what it takes day in and day out. And that's one of the hardest things because when you look at players that are champions, it's very rare that they only have one. Once they figure out what the criteria are, what the habits are, what these things are, they know how to train. They know how to take care of themselves. They know the ins and outs. They know how to the dialogue between teammates, the dialogue between coaches, the staff. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. And that team's got a lot of players that, man,
They do.
you would want to protect. You would want to
Yeah.
protect. When I look down the list, there's like, man, I wouldn't want to lose her. I wouldn't want to lose her. I wouldn't want to lose her. But I was thinking in my head almost like, if we lost everyone, who can we not lose? Being Krieger retiring, she would have been on my list, old or not. But for me, Jenna Neiswanger being such a young player with such a pedigree behind her already, that's a player I build my team around going into the future, even if we have some stumbling blocks because we lose some other quality players. And I don't think two teams coming into the league is going to hurt the parity in the league and the quality of player that the NWSL has. So I think you'll be able to replace players. I don't think you can replace her, especially a player that can play in the midfield, can play in the back, can play offensive, can play defensive. And then she's also a player when you watch her play national team now or with Gotham, you know right away she is solely for the team. She is not about her headlines. She is not about just getting, her own credit. She is all about getting wins and making the team a better place. So that's my pick for Gotham.
I love it. I love it. Neiswanger was Rookie of the Year this year in the NWSL. Obviously, Gotham went on to win the championship game, and she's part of this U.S. women's national team future. She's that player who we can see her coming in for maybe an Emily Fox or Alana Cook and really being a player of the future at just such a young age as a rookie this season in the league. Since you stole mine, I'm just going to go with who was my second player. I was figuring out who I wanted to pick. Yasmin Ryan is another great, excellent pick for me. She's very versatile in the fact that she can play in the midfield and she can also play up top. She has a great partnership with Lynn Williams, Mitch Purse. But even when she was in Portland, we saw her have the ability to play well with others, which shows that she is a very selfless player. She'll do whatever it takes to allow the team to be first. She wasn't a highly touted player coming out of her college days, which shows that she's willing to work hard. She's willing to put the team first, and she's willing to be versatile when need be. She's a player who I would love to see the U.S. give at least a look at in one of these camps. Maybe not before the Olympics. Maybe, I don't know. I could see it either way I would be happy with, but she would be a player on this Gotham side who I don't think they can lose because her being added to the team this year is a reason why that they made it and won the final game. OL Reign is the
I'll say
other.
this
Go ahead.
about Yasmin Ryan. One
Yeah,
is she was one of your players to watch early when we first did the NWSL. So I think
she
people
was.
should realize that. But the other thing is, if she is not protected, man, that's who I'm going after. She has proven
Yeah,
she can play in different systems. So, like, if you're
good
worried
point.
about it, oh, well, she was really good she was good in Portland too, and she was good
Right.
in Gotham. So she can be good in San Diego or Bay Area, and she can also be good in Utah. She's a player that it doesn't matter the system or where you play her. You can play her out wide. You can play her at a false nine. You can play her at the 10. So I would be watching on this expansion draft. She'd be a player I would be, man, please don't protect her. If I'm one of these two teams, please let me get my hands on her because no matter where you throw her or what style of play, she can adapt and play in any style. And I'm guessing
Yeah.
anyone we're looking at protecting can probably do that too, but she's proven it. She has shown us that she can do it. And she doesn't care about the fanfare. I mean, or if she does not let it bother her because when you're moved around like that, you're a good player, but sometimes coaches just can't find the fit. And she doesn't let it affect her. She gets in there, she gets to work, and she earns her spot.
She does. And you can also if you want, make that argument. Well, Portland's a great team. Well, Gotham's a great team. She got lucky. Gotham was a terrible team last year. That
Correct.
was a holistic change. So you cannot make that argument. You have to see Ryan was a huge piece of their success this year. We're going to stick with this NWSL championship theme and go over to OL Reign. I'm going to go first on this one, Scotty, because I'm nervous you actually took this one from me. And kudos to you.
It'll be we have same minds if you pick the same player. I don't think you did, but we'll see.
Okay, well, you opened my eyes to this player a little bit more this season. She is a player who's now spent 7 years in the NWSL, on and off the U.S. women's national team. Okay, good. We're good. We're in good shape.
We're good.
Emily Sonnet, she started in OL Reign this season in the 6, and she's been able to do so much for them. She wasn't the most athletic player, I felt like, going into this season, but she seemed like she has a good head on her shoulders. She's figured out a good system that fits well for her. Having that experience, liking that partnership with her and Coach Harvey. She started a 19-match this season, and I felt like she just really held down the fort in the middle. And now she's slowly getting back into that U.S. soccer system. Maybe it's a little too late with her age. Who knows? But if I'm OL Reign, she's a player that I have to have back next year because the 6 are just immensely important to any and all teams.
She was going to be my pick. She really was.
I knew it.
Because I think this is the best we've seen her play. And I think sometimes when you get on a role like she's on, it knocks a couple years off your actual age. So I think she's playing with a rejuvenation. The reason I didn't pick her is everywhere she's been, she is, how do I say it? Like, I wasn't this type of player, but my best friend, captain of the teams I was the link between all the groups. Because each team, not necessarily clicks in a sense sometimes, but we have our connections and we have who we like to hang out with. She always seems to be the link, the one that is the jokester, keeps it light in the locker room, but also intense, knows when to turn it up, and then quality of play. My only thing is, I got a feeling this team's going to lose some of her friends. Rapinoe's already retired. They went to the finals, yes, but to me they didn't. And somebody put stats up one time about, like, listen, I understand. I'm not a big analytical guy. I don't think the game was as close as the stats said in the finals. So I think they need to make a couple changes to change the way they play. They're going to lose Rapinoe, who was a big voice. Fishlock's getting up in age.
Yep.
Heitemil, that's the style we're going to continue to play. We don't have the service from the outside, or do we? What are we looking to do? So I think certain things are going to change at OL Reign, especially when we figure out who is Seattle buying them. Are the Sounders going to be their new owners? I know they put a bid in for them. So that's the only reason I didn't pick Sonnet. I would protect Claudia Dickey, the goalkeeper.
I thought about that.
That's who I would protect. So, like, as important as the 6 is to a team, so is the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper, when you have confidence in your goalkeeper, the calmness and stability of your team dramatically changes. And I think now that she's getting more minutes, they obviously trust her. They play her in big games, even when she wasn't in, I think 2022, she only played like the final of the Challenge Cup or whatever she played. But they trust her in big games. She was good this year. I've seen her a lot here in the area because she went to Chapel Hill. She's a great athlete. She's a stellar goalkeeper. I think if you have a really good goalie, and I think she is a high quality goalie, and the sky's the limit, the more minutes she gets, I think that's a big pick for them not to lose their goalkeeper, because I think it's such a focal point, especially in the NWSL. You see kind of Angel City, I think, went through a little thing where they had to change their goalie. I think that threw them off a little. It throws the back line off a little bit. So my pick would be Claudia Dickey. And then, I had a coach, one of my favorite coaches was a Uruguayan coach, and he always said, I always start from the back and work my way forward. And he said, and that's including my goalkeeper. I always try to get the best goalie, then the best center backs, then the best outside backs, and the best number 6. I work my way forward. And as you look around the world of soccer, yes, there's Messi's, there's Ronaldo's, but the teams that are really starting to look like the top teams, they have real good center backs, they have real good sixes, and those are the teams that constantly win. It's not like a win here and there. They're like
Yeah.
every weekend, they're going to win. So my pick for OL Reign would be, and that's with Lavelle and them on there. Like
I know.
Lavelle's got a lot of injury problems. She's getting older
Yep.
in age. She's also, is she
See
losing
that? We're the
again?
same age, Scotty. Just kidding.
But so like that's my pick would be Claudia Dickey.
Yeah, no, I like that, and it made me think about something I was thinking about this weekend because, we always talk in the NFL, there's 32 quarterbacks, and now we're seeing it there in this time in the season where quarterbacks are being injured and they're bringing in quarterbacks that we don't know. Tommy DeVito's a great example of that. Like Daniel Jones goes out, their other backup quarterback goes out, so they bring in this guy off his couch who's this Italian from New York, and there's only 32 quarterbacks, but that also shows just like how much talent is sitting on their couch or is sitting on a practice squad waiting for that opportunity. The Steelers are in kind of a similar situation, but they're not having success. So you look at the NWSL and there's only 12 and soon to be 14 goalkeepers. That's not a lot. Like the amount of Division 1 talented goalkeepers that play here in college soccer in the States is a ton. And now it's being dwindled down to 14 just shows you need that excellent goalkeeper. And if you find them, because it can be so hard to find because you only get so many opportunities to play them out on the pitch, you have to stick with them. So I like to your point, like Dickey's a great example. There's only so many of them, I think, in the NWSL. We've seen what's happened in Angel City. Obviously in San Diego, they have an excellent goalkeeper with Sheridan. You can't lose her. North Carolina has an excellent one. Maybe in Orlando, we're going to have to see some changes. It's a long season, but I agree. What we've seen Dickey do once, gosh, what was her name? Tellis Joyce left for Manchester United. She's proven her point. I like the pick.
She plays bigger than she is. She's a great shot stopper and she's good on crosses. And that's the thing, like the way the Courage play, they have the perfect goalie for them. The way certain teams play, you don't always need a great goalie that's great on crosses because we don't let the ball get out wide. We need a shot stopper. So like you got to get a goalie that fits your style of play and your system. And I think that's what Dickey does. She can do a little bit of both. And that's how OL Reign plays. They attack on the outside. If they get exploited, it usually is a cross, which she's pretty good at. And then if it's a rebound, because of the cross, she's a great shot stopper because she's super athletic. And listen, when she was there, she was the number one, but Carolina has a tendency of a half for this goalie, a half for this goalie, a half for this goalie, a half for that's how they do it. So like when you look at her, the wear and tear that she's had on her body is actually a lot less than a lot of these other goalies. Like coming out this year, or if she comes out, the Florida State goalie. And she's been playing every game since her freshman year. That's a beating in goal. Just training is a beating. So like what for me, Claudia Dickey is like, that's a really good fit for OL Reign, and you can build again around her with your back line, especially when you got Cook. If she doesn't change her mentality, she gives up mistakes, and now you need Dickey to solve the problem. And maybe a little bit that's why sometimes Cook, she's always played with on the national team, great goalies. At OL, great goalie. So maybe she has a little bit too much confidence in her goalies, and she tries things that she shouldn't try. And who knows? We're always harping on Cook's
I know she's talented. She's talented center back, but no, it's a good point. Yeah. And she's still so young. She can take those risks. Like U.S. Soccer has proven that they're fans of her. So that is something obviously we'll be watching Friday night. You can tune in on CBS Sports Network. They will be hosting the expansion draft. And before we know it, it'll be January and we'll be headed into the NWSL draft.
Stay on the top. I like that the Challenge Cup is just the one game this year.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. This
I like that. I like the Community Shield and the EPL. Like, it's a great kickoff to the season. One game, everybody watches.
Everybody watches. We get fans tuning in that aren't typically going to watch because it's one game. They saw the success of what happened in San Diego and Megan Rapinoe, Ali Krieger. People want more, and I think it's a good way to do it. NWSL is doing it right. We're going to stay on the topic of women's soccer. This is my favorite segment of the day. I'm actually really excited about this one. U.S. Soccer is bidding for 2027 World Cup with Mexico, and the Wall Street Journal said that 2027, they would be generating $3 billion in revenue and record attendance here in the States in Mexico. I believe it, especially with what's about to happen in America. In 2024, we'll have Copa America. In 2025, we'll have the Club World Cup. In 2026, we'll have the Men's World Cup in the States. In 2027, Lord willing, we'll have the Women's World Cup. And in 2028, the Olympics will be hosted in Los Angeles. That's 5 events here in the States in the next 5 years. It's just something that, and the Women's World Cup would fall smack dab in the middle of that. So they can build on the Men's World Cup the year prior, what's happening in Copa America, keeping an eye on what stadiums draw the attention and what stadiums don't. With that said, what unconventional city or soccer stadium or stadium in general would you plant a game in if the Women's World Cup were to have the World Cup in 2027?
This one I thought about a long
That didn't
time.
make sense. If America and Mexico were to have the World Cup in 2027. Okay, go ahead.
I thought about this, and I went back and forth, and then finally settled on one. And the only thing, my drawback to it is I'd have to really look at how the stadium is constructed on the low part of it to make
Okay.
sure that we can get the width of the field correct. Now, they've had games there. I've only seen them on TV, and you can't always get your angles right based on where the cameras are and stuff. I would pick Cleveland, Ohio. That's they have a stadium. Their capacity is right under 72,000. I think they could fill it. Cleveland I don't think it gets as bad of a rap as it used to, but it gets a kind of a bad rap. But man, they have tons of restaurants, tons of things to do, a great airport, which you're going to have to. You're going to have Canada in the games. They're in it. They're going to qualify. So it's easy for Canadians to come across if Canada gets a game there. There's a great ethnic background, and not just one ethnicity in Cleveland, Ohio. You also have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it's a great base for when you're off. You get a day off because there's so many days in between games. You got stuff to go. There's sightseeing to do. There's the lake. You can get out on the lake. There's things for the fans to do that come in. And I mean, I think Cleveland has everything you would need for the fans coming in and also for the teams being there. They also have a huge youth soccer and women youth soccer clubs in the area. So your fan base from local is going to draw. It's an easy ride in from New York. It's an easy coming in from Columbus. It's easy to come in from Detroit. So you have all these other cities around who you can draw their fan bases into, not just the traveling fans that are going to come and watch their teams play. The only thing I said, my only drawback is it wide enough down low to get a wide enough field? It's long.
Where are we playing?
Cleveland Brown Stadium.
Okay, what's it called?
Cleveland Brown Stadium is long. We don't play games in Cleveland. We don't play games. We don't need sponsorship. You just have to ask Baker Mayfield. I'm pretty sure it's his house. I'm almost positive Baker Mayfield lives there still.
Yeah, so does Flo from Progressive. I'm pretty sure she lives there.
Yeah, they're all hanging out together. But yeah, I think Cleveland would be a great. I mean, it's a great soccer city. It really is. It's been that forever. And like I said, there's a Polish group there. There's a German group there. There's an Italian group there. Like, it has great little pockets of these parts of the city that are just in flux with these different nationalities. And I think it would just be, it's a great place. And like I said, you got to get to the airport because you got to travel as a team. So you have that. You don't got to find an airport. You know, you can get the places. I'm sure the big cities are going to get New York and this. It's an easy trip in. You know what I mean? It's.
Wait, how far is it from Cincinnati?
Cincinnati, I want to say 2 to 3 hours. It's not that far.
Okay, that's not that far.
I mean, it's like 2 hours to Columbus. Like there's things to do, and then there's like these Detroit's 2 hours away.
Right.
Oh,
It's a part of the
and it's
country
right
people
over
wouldn't
the
see
just got to get over the
otherwise.
bridge, kind of. Say again?
I think it's a part of the country people coming out from out of the country would never go to otherwise.
And then they'll be like, "Why does this place get a bad rap?" Like they have everything.
The weather, Scotty, the
It's
weather.
the summer, and when they're not
I
games,
know.
go to see the Indians play. There'll be baseball games. They could throw out a
Yeah.
ball. Whoever's there, whoever's that's their home site where they're bring out one of those players, promote it. You could do it. The other place I was thinking, which I did everything in my power not to pick, was Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The Wrexham game
New
sold out
stadium?
easy. You got to play at Chapel Hill. You bring back all the legends and you do camps the whole time the World Cup's here. Bring back Mia Hamm, bring back Lily. But I did everything in my power not to pick Chapel Hill because Wolfpack.
Yeah. I hear you, but I
But I
actually
picked
think
Cleveland.
Cleveland's like a much better. I like the Cleveland because it's less obvious, right? Like we're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for the less obvious. And that's where I went. Like I was thinking Charlotte with them getting, some Copa American games, the growth of soccer here in North Carolina and in Charlotte specifically, what MLS has done. Why not? But I'm hoping like realistically they actually pick Charlotte as a place where they'll play in 27. So I went with my favorite place in America, State College, Pennsylvania at Beaver Stadium, because their stadium can hold 107,000 people. They play obviously American football there, and it's the perfect weather in the summer, similar to Cleveland. You're smack dab in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania. So you're equal distance from Pittsburgh and from Philly. It's 2.5 hours. You can fly into either one of those cities, or you can fly into State College. They have their own airport. The grass is always amazing because Penn State's an ag school and the turf is always phenomenal, especially in the summer. The food is great. We have the waffle shop, which is amazing all day long, but especially at breakfast with their sliced and grilled blueberry muffins. Like you can't not get them. The ice cream, because again, it's an agricultural school, and there's plenty of RV parking. People come in, they can tailgate, they can sleep in their RVs, they can do Airbnb. You can go hiking because you're in the valley, you're in the mountains of Pennsylvania, and that time of year it is absolutely stunning. And Pennsylvania and State College in particular is growing, so there is plenty of bars, there's restaurants, like I said, and it's something completely different. I mean, Penn State women's soccer has won a national championship, always wins Big Tens. The men's soccer has always had a great program as well. So from a soccer standpoint, there's plenty of good talent from the college level, and it's different. It's in a part of the country where a lot of the times they go with the Philly and the New York, but it's something just a little bit west of that and could just give a completely different look into what the United States has to offer outside of just the big cities.
Yeah, I like it.
And go state.
There you go.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, US Soccer is listening to us and they put in bids for State College, Pennsylvania and Cleveland, Ohio. Also, let us know what you think. Like if you're listening to this show and you have some ideas of where US Soccer and Mexico should pick a site, please let us know. We would love to hear about it because who knows? We might end up seeing some soccer being played there in 2027. That is a wrap on the topics of this week. We're going to head into our Yellow Penny Awards. Scotty has one. I have one. Let's start with you, Scotty. What do you have for us?
My yellow penny, and I think I kind of give these guys my yellow penny like every other time. but,
You're consistent. If
but I
you're
don't
one thing,
care.
you are consistent.
I just want people to know what I feel. I'll give it to U.S. Soccer again. So they just came out with their Players of the Year, their list.
Nominees.
Nominees. Yeah, sorry, nominees for their Players of the Year. And I kept looking over the list, and I'm just confused by players that made the list. So, like on the girls' side, on the women's side, listen, and everybody's a good player. Like everybody's good. I'm not saying there's anyone that's bad on either list. I'm just saying this is, what did I read? Like 1994, maybe even earlier. It's like the most prestigious award and the oldest award in soccer that we give. So, like, I think there should be more thought into it. Or am I getting it wrong? And is it really just a sponsorship award somehow? I don't understand it, or who they want to promote. But on the
Yeah.
women's side, Crystal Dunn is on the list. Great player. But like what? What did she do last year? She scored the most goals ever in her NWSL career in a season, which was five. Which was five. Like, it's not a lot of goals, in my opinion, like to get on this list. You got Emily Fox, again, a great player. But in the NWSL, her teammate was up for Defender of the Year, and she wasn't. She didn't have the greatest World Cup. She wasn't terrible in the World Cup, but she didn't do anything where you're like, wow. Like there's just certain players on the list. I just don't understand how they made that list. Haran was average in the World Cup, but she had a good with her club team. And it all goes into play. It's your entire year. So like the only one on the list that there's two players on the list. I'm like, Sophia Smith, but I wouldn't give it to her because she had a shocking World Cup. Shocking for her talent. And Germa. Germa was great in the World Cup, and she's a two-time Defender of the Year. And she's a big reason San Diego, who is San Diego. It's not Alex Morgan anymore. It's Germa. So like that one makes sense. But the other ones, I'm like these are our picks. Like, is that how bad of a year like our women had? And I don't think it's any better on the men's side. Pulisic was decent in the World Cup. Couldn't get on the field for Chelsea. Couldn't get on the field. So now he's doing great at AC Milan. But it's only like 2 months a month out of the year that we're getting to see this transformation. Listen, I'm not saying he's not one of our better players. Again, is that then we have the kid from France that just 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it is, decided to become an American. So, like, are we counting all the time before that? Yes, he was amazing in the French league. He did great. He did. But he hadn't even said he was American yet. So, like, we can't, to me, I can't count that. He was still figuring out what, like, if he doesn't pick America, do we still put him on the list? Of course not. So we only have his last couple games. Then we have Ricardo Pepi. Now, this one, to me, is like, maybe this is like telling Berhalter, stop messing around. Because here's a guy Berhalter does not pick for the World Cup team. So he doesn't make our World Cup team, but he has a great club year. So, like, how can one of our players be not a national team player? Didn't have a great national team run. He has recently, but he didn't even go to the World Cup. We didn't even pick him on the team. Like, I think the only one on the men's side that I'm like, we got Turner. He goes to
Matt Turner.
He can't play at Arsenal. So then they go sell him to Nottingham. He starts for Nottingham and they get shellacked. Then he makes the bench. Then we realize, okay, maybe it's not Turner's fault because they're getting destroyed. And he's back in the starting lineup finally. Like, I just feel like, are we picking it based on these are really nice guys? Because the only one I would pick on the men's side is Musa. He's the guy that was good in Spain. Okay, now he's finding his way in Italy, and he had a great World Cup for us. He did. Yeah. Our midfield was great in the World Cup. Yeah. Do you not want to give it to Tyler Adams because he was hurt? Because based on what you're giving me as players, he should be in the running. So he got hurt at the end. It's almost like because he got hurt, he didn't mess up either. I just think like the players we picked is like, I just don't think like and if that's our best is like, I just gave a speech to the young players I played with. Why does the U.S. not have any world-class players, like really world-class? And I think part of the problem is when we train in America at the youth level, a lot of times we train until we can do something. Whereas Europeans and the other countries, their great players train until they can't do it wrong. Yeah. That's why they're world-class. They can't mess up. And it's not because they're just that good. It's because they train to become just that good. And I don't think we train like that here in America. Now, granted, some of these guys, they haven't really trained here that often. They've been in other places. I just think that the players we picked, I'm like,
not good enough.
I don't see it. Like, did we just have to put 5 guys on there? Just put the nominees as 3 people. Like if you had Sophia Smith, Germa, and I don't know. I really just, I don't know. Like Nair, I'd put Nair in there before I.
No. I would not put Alyssa Nair on there. No.
I'm just
Do you think
saying,
she
like
had a
she, she
she
by stats, and again,
terrible
like I
World
said, I'm
Cup.
not analytical. Chicago was a complete nightmare. They would have been
Yeah.
a bigger nightmare without her
But
because
she
she
let in
did
like
make.
what, 33 goals, had a really bad World Cup, like not even selected to be a part of this current come around of US soccer
I think part of the World Cup is
camps.
how bad everybody played at the World Cup.
Totally.
So like it's
But this
sometimes
is
it's hard.
US soccer's deal. Like, why are they making up about like their Premier League showings or their Serie A showings? Like, why can't is it this more like
No,
how are
it's
they
it's
judging
it's the
them?
whole thing. It's the whole. So like the next big award is the Young Player Award. Well, one of
Yeah,
them is a college player on the girls' side because that's what it
she's
is.
young.
They didn't get picked up to be on the national team, or they're a youth national team. I think Thompson's going to run away with that one, just by
Olivia
based.
Moultrie's on it too.
Yeah, Moultrie, but Moultrie didn't go to the World Cup. So
No,
like that, I think her resume is just a little bit better than Moultrie's in a sense.
fair.
Um, that's just me personally. I don't know, but I think that's Thompson's going to get it. And I also think Thompson's going to get it because let's not fool around that she's a bigger deal to Nike than Moultrie is, even though Moultrie's a
Right.
big Nike part too. So I just
And her sister being a part of Angel City, like the whole story.
I would like to say
And
I think that is a mistake.
be- Oh gosh, wait, save it for next week.
Okay.
Save it for next week because we're coming up on the end of this show and we won't forget it. There's so much happening, but we will definitely dive into that one because Alyssa Thompson's sister will be playing for Angel City
Unless she's
next year.
changing position, but I don't think she's gonna. I'll save it. I'll save
We'll,
it.
we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Is that that's your yellow penny? I see that and I agree with you. Like US soccer be better, I guess, with the nominees or like at least pull America or the coaches or I don't know, like
Well,
who's
yeah,
watching these
like I
games to
don't.
make
Yeah, I know how the voting goes. It's like ex players, it's coaches from the
we
leagues.
could vote. You could go on there and
There's
vote.
a
I
couple
almost
media,
tried
right?
to.
And then there's fans, which again, you know how I feel about fan voting.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if I want to vote for Sam Coffey, like that doesn't make it right just because I'm a fan. Although player of the game last time,
Same coffee
called
with
it,
a
called it.
first goal. I like it. I like it. All right. So that's Scotty's Yellow Penny Award. My yellow penny is the trend of wearing Samba sneakers as the cool girl sneaker. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when I was in 5th grade, I used to wear my Sambas all of the time. And I mostly wore them because, like, obviously playing indoor, I had the sneaker. I thought they were cool. And I was more Tom girl and didn't want to wear like regular sneaker. I loved wearing my soccer shoes. But now that I'm in my 20s and I'm a grown woman and I don't play the sport anymore competitively, I don't feel like I should be wearing that shoe. The Gazelles, I think, are fine because they're a different style. They're more platform. You're never going to go for a run in like platform Gazelles. But, as much as I want to get on the train and wear the Sambas, I truly believe that the Samba should be left for soccer, and I love the attention that it's garnering towards the sport because all these girls and the influencers are wearing the shoe. But wear a Veja, wear a Puma, maybe. Not saying don't wear Adidas because you can wear Adidas, but the Samba trend has been taken just a tad too far. It's that Euro girl look, and it's my yellow penny. Like, what's going to be the next new shoe? I think it has to come here faster than it is coming because I'm over it. I
I
don't
would
know. What do you think?
100% agree with you. Not only is it a trend, the Samba won shoe of the year this year at the big
As it should have.
as at what up shoe of the
What
year.
kind of wait. I need to figure out for next week. I'm writing this down now because I want to know how much Samba sneakers have made for Adidas. Compare it to what Adidas or Messi has made for Adidas this year. Because I would like to see that number. Like Scotty, I know you're not on Instagram, but every girl wears a Samba every day of her life.
I,
Every
I,
girl.
I
She probably
agree
at
with
least has
you,
3.
and this is my thing with it. And
Does
again,
Emmy have Sambas?
no,
Okay.
she doesn't. We're a Nike family. I will say,
Fair.
this, and I've been meaning to somehow throw this out there somewhere. I am a Nike. I have a couple of Adidas. I have the Campus. I have what else do I have? I have the Forest Hills of Adidas. I like certain Adidas shoes, but my favorite shoe of all time, and I am a Nike guy, but the Adidas Adilite, the sandal, To me,
Yes,
that is the greatest shoe ever made. That's me personally. Now,
but
on
it's a
your
sandal, so that's okay. I'm okay
yeah,
with that.
on your point, so like I think there's some trends in soccer for me that I'm just outdated in a sense. Although I'm never ever going to accept it. That's just who I am. So like when I was growing up, granted, soccer wasn't cool just yet to play, but even the soccer community, we never wore soccer stuff outside of the field ever.
Right.
So, like the big shoe, how you knew someone played soccer is if they wore the Nike Cortez. If a person had a Nike Cortez shoe, you're like, oh, that's a soccer player. Because that was a cool shoe and it wasn't a soccer shoe. Now is
Mm.
like so many people wear the Samba, you're like, why are you
Everybody.
wearing that? Like you
But
know you don't play. Even non-soccer people are wearing them. So
oh,
like like
mostly.
the Gazelle, the Campus. Here's a shoe that looks similar, but you could wear it with a nice outfit. You could wear like I don't feel like I could put on a suit and wear Sambas.
But you can. That's the trend. And you're right, and that's
I
why
don't
I
think it looks
say
good
a
though.
Veja
Yeah, I think you look better in
is where you
Vans.
go.
I look you better in Air Force Ones. I think you look better in Jordans. And I'm not a Jordan fan. I would never wear
I don't like
Jordan.
Jordans.
Um, I'm more like I'm a Knicks fan and a State fan, so I can't wear Jordan. That's just me personally.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
and some of them I think are just too showy.
It's too much. It's too much. Too much shoe. Like it's too much. I'm not with the Jordans. I like the look of a Samba. It's just it's too much a crossover. And here's my pitch before we go. Adidas and MLS and NWSL, they have to find a way to get this influencer girl, this average American girl who is wearing the shoe that soccer, NWSL, MLS always promotes. How can we get that girl to start coming to these games, influencing at these games? Why don't we have an influencer event at an MLS game, at an NWSL game, at the final in Columbus? And the Sambas are everywhere. And we're selling the Sambas. We're designing our own Sambas. We have an influencer showing how do you wear your Sambas with your street clothes or with your Columbus Crew jersey? What color of Sambas do you wear with the LAFC kit? Just a few free ideas out there for you guys. Please, please. I didn't put any whatever it's called on it. You can take it. But as much as I don't love the shoe, it is the trend and it is what people are wearing. And I think these leagues have to find a way to get those girls and guys who are wearing the shoes like infiltrated into the league. That's a huge fan group like
I agree.
that they
I
haven't
think
tapped into.
sometimes the big companies they use the superstar too much. Like you know what I mean? Like oh, we're gonna
But
promote the
who's the
Samba.
superstar in the story? There's no superstar in the story. It's the shoe is the
I'm saying like when
superstar.
I watch a commercial, it'll be
Oh,
like who's Adidas? Like
Abby Dahlkemper wears
okay,
Adidas.
Doll Kemper. Like, but
Yeah.
there's way more not doll Kempers than there are doll Kempers. And I think that's what like the average girl, the average guy that can make it look like, who is that? Like, where'd she get those shoes? But
Right.
she designed them. Like, I think that like if I was running a marketing firm, I would market a lot of average people. And not average, like not
Yeah.
average like Rapino, like now I'm one of the average people. Like
No
more
narbs.
of us floating around. Like I want to see the guy with like a little chubby belly. Like I don't want to see like I cannot be Odell Beckham Jr. I can't. I don't have the genes. I just can't be that ripped. So like when I look at him and he's a Nike guy and he's got his Air Force Ones and then like I go try the Air Force Ones and I'm like, good God, I look like a dork. My ankles are
Yeah.
way too skinny. The Air Force One is a boxy shoe. So you got to get like, if you're not getting the fly knit one, it's like, it doesn't look good on me, the full leather. Or if you get
Totally.
leather, like you got to wear jeans with them. Like I want to see like, hey, look at that dad with his kids wearing these sweet Adidas that he made himself. Like that's the
Yes.
guy I want to see in it. Not like, well, of course. So hey, I'll say this though, and I'm going to get him in trouble, and I don't care. The other day, I saw a picture of Messi with
Uh-oh.
Nike Air Force Ones on. Oh, watch out!
I'm putting it here. You're gonna send it to me, Scotty, and put it in here. Watch us on
I gotta go
YouTube. We got
find
the
it
picture
again.
up.
I was like, he's wearing Air Force Ones. Like, I don't think that's legal. I don't think you're allowed
That's
to
not
do that.
legal.
Yeah,
Where was he? What was he doing?
supermarket. He's always in the supermarket. That guy.
He is. I love a
He's so
supermarket, like
fit.
a Whole Foods or a an Erewhon. If you're in
He's
LA,
in
you got to
Miami,
check
so
out
he's got
Erewhon.
to be in Publix. They
Wait,
love their Publix in Florida.
I do. I love a good Publix, a good pub sub. We have Publix here in Charlotte,
That's what
and
everybody
they're
tells me. I've never had a
excellent.
sub, but everybody, when they bring up Publix, brings up the subs.
Pub sub. And their key lime pie is amazing too. If you need something. My light just died, so that's telling us we need to wrap this up. But have you ever seen the Gola shoe? I recently was looking at shoes on Free People and I came across them and I might purchase those. What do you think?
When I was first started playing, they were the softest leather cleat. Gola had a leather cleat.
Really? I've never heard of the brand.
Dude,
What happened to them?
I don't know. Just not, it wasn't that thing. Like they were popular and then they weren't popular. And I don't know. I think Nike came along and Adidas, but I can't wait for this year because at the shoe convention, shoe of the year where Samba won, the new Adidas CEO who came from Puma, which look into that story is an awesome story of how the two brothers split and got into a huge family argument. And Adidas was formed and Puma was formed by two brothers. Anyway, he came over and when he accepted the award for Samba, he blatantly said to Nike, get ready. We got a lot in the pipeline. This is just the start. Oh,
dang.
because now Nike's going to come back out. Nike's coming back with their Lunars that they originated with. The Nike Lunars coming out in December. I can't wait because I like Nike products way better. I will say Adidas uniforms, I think, are better than Nike uniforms right now in the soccer world, which wasn't always the case.
I don't know if I like one over the other. I think they both serve different purposes for me. But for the casual fan who's wearing Sambas and you're not into it anymore, check out the Vejas. Check out Gola. Like that's a brand that not many people are wearing, and they've got some pretty sweet stuff. But that'll do it for us here at Straight from the Pitch.
Don't jump the brands. If you
don't jump brand, you can't wear the same brand.
On, don't be wearing a Nike shirt. I'm telling you right now, it bothers me. Or Nike socks. You get a pair of socks.
Scotty's going to throw you in jail.
The whole Adidas. Get the whole Adidas outfit. Go for the whole thing. Come on, people. Don't do it.
Stay true and loyal to one brand at a time.
Don't cross brand. I don't care if you wear Nike and Adidas at different times. Just don't brand. They don't go good together. A Nike shirt does not go good with Adidas shoes. It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. I agree with that. From a fashion standpoint, I don't think it looks good either. But yeah, that is our show this week from Straight from the Pitch. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at SFTP. You can watch us on YouTube every single week. So make sure to tune into us every single Wednesday. We will see you back here next week.
Have a great week.